Okay, I think a number of people are having an issue joining the space, but let's begin with the people available. I think other people will catch up on the way. Andrew, Oscar, glad to have you here, and Derrick. This is the EATSpace space, so it's basically a platform for young people, East Africans, to come together and have conversations that are going to shape the future of East Africa and Africa. It's important for us to engage and have these in the long run, be able to awaken our minds and also push on forward to create a better future for ourselves, but future generations to come as well. So I'm really glad to work alongside Irene. And we shall be engaging with the speaker, Derrick, and all of you on the space throughout the 1 hour. Really glad to have you guys once again.
Thank you very much for proceed.
Irene, I think you and Derrick can start now.
It's okay, I'm ready.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Frederick Kaskazini. I think you all know me. Yeah, I think Irene can introduce yourself as well. And yeah, I think you can invite Derrick and we get on with the conversation.
Yeah, my name is Irene Sumari, and I'm working with Frederick on these Twitter spaces on entrepreneurship passion, as we all agreed that we're going to meet today. And I'm very glad that all of you are here. I wanted to switch to Swahili, but I don't know if anyone doesn't get the English conversation, they can share with us so we can speak. We can mix Kiswahili and English. But the topic or the thing that we wanted to speak about was entrepreneurship, passion, and employment. And we all know that unemployment is an issue, especially in most East African countries. And we all agree, I mean, we are all here to speak about it and give out our views on this and know what's the issue, what's the problem behind. And we invited Derrick because he's one of the entrepreneurs growing in Kenya, and we want him to share with us on what is his views and how he became an entrepreneur. What is the passion? What is it because of unemployment? Is it passion, or he just chose to be an entrepreneur? So, Derrick, welcome. Introduce yourself, and then we'll jump to the questions.
First of all, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank God for such a beautiful platform. And another thing I'd like to do is to thank the host and the co-host, Irene and Frederick, for such a great opportunity and such a great vision to actually see that our young people need to actually grow to another step. Another thing, I'd like to thank the people who have actually joined in, because this is not for granted. Actually, it is more about our East Africa than any individual. Actually, myself, I'm Derrick Amendi. I'm the chief executive officer of Starwick Empire. We normally work with, we have majored on computer solutions, to be more specific, hardware and software solutions, where we deal with sales of computers, repairs on the hardware side, and on the software side, we are more based on software engineering. For me, I'm a front-end engineer, and personally, I'm not doing business because of unemployment, but I'm doing it because it's my passion and it is something that I love. And yeah, that is why I'm here, so that we can discuss deeper, and I am grateful. Yeah, that is basically Derrick.
Yeah, so Derrick, how long have you been doing what you're doing?
Uh, When it comes to the matters of how long, actually, I started practicing entrepreneurship when I was in high school. But even before I was doing it, but I was engaging in a very indirect way. But when I came to high school, that is when I began my journey. I was selling tumbas, and I was selling many things. I've engaged in many businesses, but I've done it for close to, let's say, 5 years. This is my fifth year, but since I registered my company, it is now 3 years. Yeah.
Good. So, in entrepreneurship, and how you say you went into it for the passion. Looking around you, in Nairobi, and how the landscape is currently, statistics say that Nairobi has a rate of 13% unemployment of the youth. Do you feel like many young people have the strength, have the character to push on the way you've pushed on? Because you're saying you started with mitumba and all that. That's not something most young people would go in for. So do you feel like young people in Nairobi, around Kenya, where you've been, do you feel like young people have the same mindset that you have towards entrepreneurship, or do you feel like most are getting into it because of unemployment?
Okay. For me, according to my observation so far, is many people, maybe many youths in Kenya actually get into business basically because they want to make profits. And to make it a bit tricky is the fact that they want immediate profits, which is so impossible at the moment. The one thing that you have to understand is that the fact that you're engaging as an entrepreneur is you are risking. And the one thing that I'd like to say about the rate of unemployment and the fact that you're seeing our youths, they are venturing into entrepreneurship for wrong reason at some point, but there are others who have actually found themselves. And so the one thing that I understand is our youths have a problem, and this is the problem. And I think it's a problem that is even not only in Kenya, but it is also being faced in East Africa. You find that many people want to enter into business and get immediate profits. So when the business fails, the first thing they start to do is that they start entering into that momentum whereby you just feel like you want to give up and you want to leave everything. But uh, to be so specific, at some point myself, when I began my business, is that I remember it was now the after registration. I stayed. I took 1 month, and then COVID came. So when COVID came, that struck me as an entrepreneur. So my business and everything that I had planned, all all things failed. Like, I had to re-strategize, and I had to figure out how I'm going to survive in Nairobi. So at the end of the day, you find that the problem that we have in Kenya is, number one, many youths are not doing entrepreneurship basically because they feel passionate about it, but they do it because of unemployment, which makes it more worse, because even when things don't seem to work, they'll always give up. And this journey has been so tough. This journey has been full of many lessons. But one of the major things that I can advise as a young entrepreneur is that it's actually more better to actually find yourself and find who you are first, so that you can actually venture into something that you feel comfortable with, because you'll have that grit to actually stand during the worst times. And when things are not working, you'll have that passion to keep moving and to keep going and to keep making the world a better place. So yeah, basically that's my view, Kaskazini.
Just one more question. Around East Africa, Kenyans are known to be very aggressive. And hearing you saying that, most young people jump out of entrepreneurship is a bit of a surprise. A personal question to you: if you got a job offer right now that's probably from government, something that pays you a lot of money, would you give up your business to go in for the job opportunity, or you would not give up anything for your company right now?
Um, let me try to be more realistic with you. Like, as I speak to you, I've actually been offered many job opportunities, but I've turned them off and I've chosen to actually work on what I believe in. And I'd like to tell everyone actually the the thing about entrepreneurship, and actually it's more about life. It's more connected with purpose, and you come to understand that apart from making profits, apart from doing what a business does, the one thing that you want to do is you want to impact the people positively. So at the end of the day, if you look at what you're doing currently and you believe in it and you see that it is going to take you somewhere, so just work on it. And that is why you see that at some point, at a personal level, I had to say no to the opportunity that I received. And I'm not talking of something that has stayed for so long. It's been like 2 to 3 months. I had to submit my CV to a friend of mine, but at the end of the day, I was not really into it. So I just called off that deal and I said, let me just work on what I believe in, because at the end of the day, I'm looking forward to actually create opportunities for other people. So if I end up making this kind of choice of joining an institution, joining another corporation, you find that I may end up closing the destinies of many other people. So at the end of the day, you continue to strive and you continue to actually bring what you believe into being. And that is why there's something that I heard Mark Zuckerberg talking about, and he said that a vision is something that is not clear, especially in the beginning. So what happens is that as you continue to do what you do, the vision becomes more clearer and more clearer. So the one thing that I can say is that it is better to actually press on what you believe other than being employed. It is not always about employment. And there's one other thing that I'd like to say so that I don't miss this. uh, I've worked with circles for the past I have like a 3 year experience, and I can say that it is always good to actually serve somewhere so that you can get the exposure, so that you can actually create your network, and you can do it for a season, but a time comes that you have to actually to pull out and come and start something new, so that you can actually make the life of other people better and more reasonable. So that's my point, Kaskazini.
Thank you so much, Derek. Before
Yes.
you proceed, I would like to recognize the listeners that are joining. We have Innocent, Fina Mwimbisi Nkuzi, Muzora, Diana. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. But we are currently speaking to Derek. He's the CEO of Starwick Kenya, and we're just asking him some few questions. And we don't want this to be boring. If in case any of you wants to ask anything or to add anything, you just raise and I'll give you a chance to speak. So yeah. And Derek, I wanted to ask you a question before you proceed. You said you did it out of passion, and I just wanted to know, did you need any skills, like did you need entrepreneurship skills to do this, or you just I don't know, how did you do it?
Okay. What for me, what happened was it is something that I okay. When we talk about passion, is it's more about something that is inward. It is powered from within you. So at the end of the day, you'll find that entrepreneurship and purpose, they do at some point connect. So you'll find yourself engaging in things like okay, you are in business expos, you're in a different other kind of like platform whereby you have to participate in this thing in one way or the other. Like for me, I can say I remember there's a time just because I love this thing, I ended up selling soda even in Egerton University, because of the passion. It pushes you, it actually propels you. Okay, it is tough, and how you begin it is that the first thing you do is, and I've said it before, is that you try to find yourself and what you really love to do. And there are some people who you find that they are more better and they are more good in different things. You can like a person that you can find a person is maybe good in cooking, so you find that okay, the basic cooking style, like everybody can cook, is not really the professional side of it. So the one thing that you do is that you now take the course upon yourself, and you start working towards actually making yourself more better, maybe by engaging in different platforms. You can do it in many ways. That is just an example. So as you continue to do what you do, you may start small. And as you continue, you learn many other things. And that is, I know, maybe probably in the course of this conversation, we are going to share how this journey was. So at the end of the day, you come to understand that you need to find what you love. Like, you need to find what you believe in. Yeah.
Yeah, Derek, just to comment before one more question, space. I think just a short answer. When Irene asked, are there just like 3 skills that have pushed you to where you are right now? The journey of any young entrepreneur, but also I feel like also in the employment space today, there are skills that one needs. It's not just about your degree anymore. It's not just about you going to a big institution. As a person who's done entrepreneurship, as a person who has been in school, and as a person who is in a space whereby you probably employ people or you see people get employed, just 3 skills that you feel are very instrumental in one's success.
Uh, okay, I'll try to make it more clearer so that we can actually get it. So, okay, it's okay. I'll explain it in a way that I personally engaged it. Okay, when I began my company, I really never knew how to fix laptops. I really never knew how to shave. I really never knew how to fix how to do the sales and everything. But the best thing that I did was I had to like start. So as you continue to do what you do, and that's what I'm insisting on, you'll continue to build up on that skill. Though you may end like, for instance, maybe for me, I was not really financially stable to actually acquire skills, so I had to find online platforms. I had to I had to engage in different I had to engage in different platforms and people so that I can get to learn and understand more about software and computer sales, because I'm running another holding company. So at some point you'll need skills, but the way forward is to actually begin what you believe in. Like, for instance, like the way I nowadays I work as a software engineer. So at the end of the day, I never started knowing a thing about softwares, but the one thing I did was I began. I had the zeal, I had the focus, I had the determination. So as I continued to do what I'm doing, I ended up building up that skill of a software engineer and of a barber. And so that's how I'm actually continuing. And yes, that is it, my brother Frederick.
I think now we can engage the rest of the people in the space. Over to you, Irene.
Yeah, thank you for the infos you gave, but also I wanted to know if what would you advise the youth about, like for example the youth that for those youth who go to do jobs as long as they get paid and it's not something they'd like to do. What would you advise them to do?
Um, you know, unfortunately, we come from the part of the world where at some point you may find yourself in a situation whereby you have to engage even the things that you don't like to do. But the one thing I'd like to advise the youths in East Africa is that it's not a must you begin with what you love. Okay, what do I mean? Myself, I've actually engaged in other things that I didn't really like, but as I engaged in those things, I actually invested more in the things I like so that I can actually grow my expertise to reach that point where my value. At the end of the day, you may find yourself in a position whereby you are disadvantaged and you can actually and there's an opportunity that you can gauge, though you don't like it. I can advise you to just do that thing and engage it, as long as you have that point of focus and you know where you're going to, you'll actually know how to work your things out. Like you can for instance, maybe let's say you want to be a I'll just use a cook. So at the end of the day you find yourself in a position whereby you have to work in a car wash. So at the end of the day you can work, but you can use that cash to actually engage online classes whereby you can learn 2 3 things that will actually build on that skill that is meant to actually take you to another level. So Irene, I don't disagree with the fact that you can actually find yourself in a position whereby you have to work on something, or you may find yourself in a position where you have to engage in a job that you don't like. As long as you don't lose that focus and you know where you're headed to, then you're good to go. Thank you, Irene.
I agree. I would like to welcome other listeners in case they want to share something or they have a question, anything. Just feel free. This is a free space. So, in case anyone wants to talk or say something, they can just raise their hands and I'll just allow their mic to be on. So, yeah. Do you have any
Please, if you want
advice
to
to?
speak, work on your mic. I think some people want to talk, but the problem is the mic. You need to go to your settings and give permission to the microphone to work. So some people I think are trying to speak, but their mics are not allowing them to do so. So please work on your mic, and you can engage. I think just to, as people work on their mics, just to shed more light on what Derek has shared with us. I think what I've picked from your story, Derek, so far is that if you're passionate about something, sometimes you won't start where you would love to start. You may have to do a job here and there to raise capital and stuff. But most importantly, you've got to pick up the skills. These days, there's so much to learn online. I've heard of so many stories of people that pick up skills on YouTube. There's so many online schools where you can do short courses. So I feel like in a time whereby there's so much unemployment on this side of the world, in this side of the continent, East Africa has the biggest number of young people because of the bulging population. So I feel like as young people, we have to do a lot to try to create opportunities. And if you've gone to school, you have a degree, or you have knowledge and exposure, I feel like it's incumbent. You have a responsibility of, think the government can necessarily create jobs. The government can only create an environment for people to thrive and create value and employment. So I feel like as young people, you've got to ask and look within yourself and ask yourself, what can I do? What value can I bring on the table? Even if you start by doing a job or be in an employment space, at the end of the day, the question is, what value do you bring to the economy? And that value is what pays you. That value is what creates employment. I think Innocent wants to speak, so please, Innocent, go on.
Hi, how are you? All right. Yes, I've heard a lot of good things, great insight from Derrick and you, Frederick, and Irene as well. I think I just have a question for Derrick. If I'm not mistaken, you mentioned that you started working in SACCOS, and then you just realized that you wanted to start your own business. So my question is, most of us, I'm not sure about I'm not sure about others. We are working, maybe we are employed in a private or a public sector. So when did you know that okay, this is the right time that I should quit my job and be an entrepreneur? When was the right time? When, like, how would you know it's the right time? Or you just wake up one day and then like, okay, I'm gonna quit my job today and start working on working on my own business. So that's just a question. That's the one. Another one. I know most of us, maybe we don't have enough funding to start our own business. So is it possible to start from zero, from ground up, and then how did you I think my question here is, how did you manage to start from zero? Or maybe did you have a funding from someone apart from your own money? Yeah, those are just my two questions for now.
Karibu, Derrick, to answer Innocent's question.
Mr. Innocent, I'm so happy to actually hear such a wonderful and a nice question. The one thing I'd like to tell you is that right now you've said that you're working. It's actually the time to build your network. So that is why I've had to explain it from the bottom. Like for me, I worked, and let me tell you, they were not paying me actually. I volunteered for 2 years because I was taking my diploma course in finance, banking and finance in Rift Valley Institute of Science and Technology. So it's not like I was being paid, but I was just working and building my network. And actually, apart from building my network, I was also learning from other people. So I was learning about organizational structures. I was about how an organization should run. So what basically happened was at the time when I was actually volunteering, because I had an opportunity to work with Uni County Sacco and Egerton Sacco. So at the end of the day, what I learned was I went there to actually learn, to pick up the main things that I'm going to use to actually build myself. So the one thing that I did was I had to learn about how the structures of an organization functions. And then the other thing that happened was after actually I was done with my voluntary and my schooling, I really had no where else to go. So what I did was I sat down and I actually decided to come to Nairobi because I come from Nakuru. So I came and I surveyed because I am situated along USIU in Tome. There's a place called Tome USIU around Safari Park. So at the end of the day, you come to understand that as an entrepreneur, there's one thing that I tell you, and that thing is so crucial. At some point, we cling on that aspect of faith, that we are going to get funds at the end of the day. And the one thing that I can advise you, Innocent, if you have a place that you want to reach, the one thing that I can tell you is that draw a plan. If you have a plan and you have everything on board, you can actually have a better base to actually acquire fundings from investors and maybe people who believe in what you're doing. Number two, the first question that you asked was, when is the right time? I don't think there's a right time for this thing. What happens is that immediately you spot an opportunity and you are in a position to actually manipulate it to your advantage. That is what you do. So so I can advise you to actually build and work on your network. And if you're looking forward to actually start your own company, the one thing that I can advise you so far is draw a plan for yourself based on the thing that you want to launch, and then funds are going to come later on. Thank you.
We're going to have Mr. Andrew Muhimbise. Glad to have you here. Andrew is a big source of knowledge and inspiration to so many young people, and we're humbled to have you part of the space. Please share with us.
Thank you. Thank you, Alvin. Derrick, thank you very much for the talk. I am meant to understand that entrepreneurship is a lonely journey. Tell me about your biggest failure and how you turned it around. Then my second question will be, kindly share what two most important skill sets you think are needed to be an entrepreneur in East Africa. Thank you. And thank you, Irene, too.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Muhimbise, I hope I've really pronounced the name the way it is supposed to be pronounced. One of my biggest failure came as a result of COVID-19. That is when I actually failed, because I had to hold my business from my pocket. So it was immediately when I launched Starwick Empire that COVID struck the market. So I had really high expectations, and everything just turned around. But the one thing that really kept me going, and the one thing that made me to actually turn my situation around, is the fact that I have a base of spirituality. So at some point you'll find yourself in a place of hopelessness, and you'll find yourself in a place where you don't know what to do. So the best thing to just hang on to is the fact that you have God by your side. So at the end of the day, that is what held me during the time of COVID. And through that, I actually met friends, and I met people who really acted as a pillar to actually hold my business, though I was doing it from the point of my own pocket, until the time that I actually had a breakthrough and I could sustain my business operations. There's that second question that I'd like you to actually repeat it so that I can answer it effectively. Kindly, Mr. Muhimbise.
Thank you, Derrick. The next question was, what are the two most important skill sets that are needed to be an entrepreneur in East Africa, from your opinion?
Okay. The one thing that I can advise young people, the one skill set that you need to be so skilled in communication. You need to be so effective, especially when it comes to the part whereby you are negotiating deals, and you know that is your opportunity or your door to actually enter into your next level. Okay, for me, there's a time we were with Frederick Kaskazini, and he experienced it. I actually had a friend who was working in gas company, and I had to pitch my idea to that guy in less than actually 2 minutes. So That's why I've actually advised Innocent to draw a plan, because when you draw a plan, you are building your idea in your mental capacity. So when you build your ideas from the mind, they'll just flow with ease. So you can actually explain yourself with great confidence and with great and effective uh, strategy. So at the end of the day, that is the one skill set that I can advise you to carry as an entrepreneur. The second skill set that you have to carry, and allow me to actually combine them, you have to be a guy who can work with a team, because a business is basically a team and a group of people that are making your dream come to pass. So you need people who can actually work with you, and you need to be a team player. Like, you need to learn the tactics of handling handling that team, so that you can coordinate everything the way you're supposed to coordinate for the success of your company. And I'll combine it with timekeeping. It's always good to actually keep time. Most of the time, and in many instances that I've had to actually go and pitch my idea to investors, I've always had to keep time, and that is the best thing that you can ever do. Because if you miss a minute when it comes to an investor, you can actually end up canceling a whole 20 million, 30 million, or depending on the deal that you're going to negotiate, down. So at the end of the day, those are the three skill set that I can advise you to carry with you as you continue along with your dream of launching your company, Mr. Mwimbise. Thank you.
Okay, I have one more last question, I think. How do you deal with self-doubt and doubt from others when running a business? Thank you.
Mr. Innocent, this is how I deal with doubt. Okay, the one thing I want you to understand about doubt, it is that it comes from a standpoint of your environment, the people who you surround yourself with. So sometimes, like, personally, there are things I don't communicate to people, and there are things that I communicate to people. So at the end of the day, I am so choosy, and I am so confidential, especially when it comes to matters. And there are matters that I just keep for myself, because sometimes you can tell something to another person who can be the person who will launch that doubt in your heart. So the one thing that I can advise you, Innocent, is to work on the people who you surround yourself with. If you surround yourself with people who don't believe in you, definitely they'll kill that vision and that idea that you're carrying. But if you surround yourself with the right people who are empowering you and encouraging you to move forward, you'll find that that thing that is hidden in you, which is it can be an entrepreneurial skill, a company, anything. It needs to be nurtured within the right environment. And I'll talk about it as a seed. If a seed is thrown on a cement, it can't really grow. But when it is subjected to soil, it will grow, because at the end of the day, it is subjected to the right environment, and that environment is encouraging growth and is encouraging an unveiling uh, 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 and it is encouraging the fact that you can grow, and you can come to that place where you believe yourself and you have confidence on what you're doing. Thank you, Mr. Innocent.
Thank you so much, Derek, for all these stories and how you started your entrepreneurship journey. Kindly, Kaskazini, mute your here. But what I've learned is we all need to be self-motivated. Like, you need to motivate yourself. From the story of Derek, he had that push, like he didn't stop. So we all need that. But for those people who don't want to be entrepreneurs, I think they need to learn skills like outside the classes, like people with degrees, they only depend on the degrees to get employed. But I think we should learn skills that are outside of the classroom, because employers need people who are patient. They need people who are reserved, people who are, be honest and, accountable. All those things we can't learn in class. You can't be taught how to be honest. You have to earn that skill. So I think also young people or youth like us, we also need to pick degrees choices that are more of passion than employability. Let's go for the passions instead of going for employment. Like, if you do something that you love, it's easy to progress than doing something that you do not love. Yeah, but also something else you added, Derrick, is that you need to respect time, set goals, and be self-motivated. Anyone else who wanted to speak, please, you're all welcome.
We have some other entrepreneurs I personally know. We have Mr. Muzora Oscar and Chitutu Tony. Please, gentlemen, you can. And employability skills. I think you can work on your microphones, and you can be allowed to speak. Otherwise, everyone else on the space, you're very welcome. And please, if you want to say something, request, and you'll be given the chance to speak. I think people are having a challenge turning on their microphones. But moving forward, there's something I think, Irene, you've talked about, which I think has to be emphasized, because we've talked so much about entrepreneurship and passion, but talking about employment, I think I've always had entrepreneur, or not everyone can thrive in the entrepreneurship space. There are people that do so well in the employment world. Please, you can go on.
Hello.
I'm trying to invite everyone to speak.
Yeah, you boss,
in
you
case
can
you
speak.
find it, just turn on your microphones.
Frederick.
Yes, we can hear you, John.
No, I just wanted to add. Hello. I just wanted to add on Frederick. Hello. I wanted to add on Frederick Kaskazini point. On Frederick Kaskazini point. The problem is that
Can you please find a very quiet place?
the problem is not that the career choice. Is it that it will be better if the government could change the situation from so that people can know. The problem is in schools. We're being taught by teachers, lecturers, that it's like we're being fooled that after school we'll be employed. And in real sense, it's not like that. So specific, I can say the problem is not on youth choosing about careers. It's about from the beginning. How are these kids how do they come up? They come up with a mindset that they know that after school I'm going to be employed, which is not true. So my point is that maybe the situation can be changed from the start, maybe from schools. People can start be taught how to make money more than how to go and get a degree, which will not help you for future. Thank you.
I agree. We need a change of mindset. Exactly. We need a change of mindset from a very, very low level of education, because we should change our minds. That's it. Like, we need to change our minds. Welcome, Kitutu. You want to speak? John, kindly mute your microphone.
Mr. Kitutu, we're waiting for you, sir. Please unmute your microphone and speak.
Yes, hello. Thank you for the opportunity. Frederick and I are close friends, though he's in Tanzania and I'm here in Uganda. My name is Kitutu Tony. I am a grad architect. The topic is interesting, not well prepared, but I'll share something that I feel like the previous speaker just talked about. That is the mindset of education and how the education system is. One thing we all have to understand is that the education system we all have does not teach us to think of being starters of our own dreams. It's a sort of education that looks at things have been created for you, and therefore you have to follow a certain pattern if you want to achieve. And it takes a lot for you to be able to change that mindset. I personally studying, there's one thing I always emphasized. I would say it's not about the profession I'm seeking for, but what problems I should be able to help society overcome with what I've acquired. Now, of introducing your mind to problem solving is a key aspect to entrepreneurship, because
Mr. Tony, can you hear us? I think your network has a problem.
Oh, I can clearly hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, but we didn't get some of the last words you said.
Oh, okay. What I was saying is the path of education we follow simply prepares us to follow what the world has already created. So the key thing is that we need to resolve our minds to understand that the education we get, we should be able to translate it into helping us identify problems that we can solve in the society. When you switch to a mind of trying to solve problems which are in the society, then you'll kick out of that notion of, this is my profession, this is the way it is. The professions and the education we study can always be applied in so many different ways. Many entrepreneurs have come up with so many solutions within our society that do not actually relate so much with the things that they studied in school. But the key thing is identifying the problems. Now, the other item that most people fear in identifying problems, more so after education, is how do I go into a field that I don't know? Probably you've done something like education in school, but you've seen a challenge with, children. They may be, let me give an example of during COVID time when we had to most countries had to import ventilators. And probably you have knowledge as a physics student, but you're a teacher. Then you're like, I'm not an engineer. What helps you then? Studying that problem and then networking. You'll be able to know, I can be able to get so and so who is so good at this, and we come together. So one of the other things that I was going to talk about is teamwork. When you identify a problem, can you put together, the right team of people to help you go ahead with it? They don't need to be in the same profession with you. As you go on, you're able to learn from them, they're able to learn from you. And this teamwork helps you then build something which will then maybe in future morph into a company. The issue is you just having something in mind and saying, I want a company, when you actually don't know the purpose that that company is going to do. So I have shared in more of an unprepared way, but this has been my view of things, and in my way that I have been able to get into problem solving. My issue is always, can I get the right people to partner with, work with, share with these problems, get to understand their perspective on these issues, and then can I be able to put them on board and be able to soldier on. In that way, you can be able to come up with certain solutions within communities around the world, and that will be a right mindset for a good entrepreneur. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Tony. And I think it's now 9. We're going to conclude our space. Thank you. Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, got someone from Burundi, and I think Rwanda. This is what we envisioned: East Africa talking, East Africa to Bonge. So Wednesday, please be able look out for the link, and you can tune in and we can have these conversations. We believe that these are going to be conversations that are going to shape the future of East Africa and Africa. And for the people doing businesses, people also in the employment space, as young people, we've shared so much knowledge here. But one of the most important things I think we have to pick is that we all have to have a problem-solving mindset, and to understand that this education we have now, we have to work so hard to see that we can do something with it, we can solve problems with it, and future generations can have better than we've had, and it's up to us to make this happen. So these are my parting shots, and I think Irene can also come through and give a parting shots. Thank you so much, Derrick, speaker, and all the other speakers who have been able to share their knowledge. We appreciate and we hope to have you next week again on the space on Wednesday. The listeners who have come in late, you've missed out, but we shall have a recording on our handles. Irene.
Yeah, thank you very much, everyone who joined. For those who joined late, sorry, but I hope next time you guys will be able to, keep time. But also, I would like to recommend one of the videos, especially for those youth who are not yet employed. I would like to recommend a YouTube video from Tabitha Sindani. She spoke about how unemployment became a ruby in her life, how she used that time when she was not employed to create more opportunities for herself. So I'll also share the name for those who didn't get the names. She's called Tabitha Sindani, and the title is How Unemployment Became a Ruby in Her Life. So yeah, that's all. But hope to meet you guys next time on the next Twitter space that will come with a different topic. As Kaskazini said, they will have the record of this conversation we had today. Yeah, and thank you very much, guys. I hope you had a good night. Yeah, bye.
Asante sana. Irene, I think you can say goodbye to the people in Swahili because we have Swahili listeners here.
Okay. Yeah, nasema asante sana kwa kila mmoja aliweza kushiriki katika Twitter space hii, na kwa wale waliochelewa, I'm sorry. Natamani next time niweze kukumbuka muda na kuwahi. Yeah, lakini tutakuwa na Twitter space wiki ijayo. Kwa hiyo kwa wale ambao hawakuweza kujoin mapema hii, wataweza kujoin next week. Yeah, lakini nashukuru sana kwa kila mmoja aliyetoa mchango, na watakia usiku mwema. Asanteni sana na kwaherini.
Sawa. I think you can end the space, Irene.